After working most of her life, Granny finally retires. At her next checkup, the new doctor asks her to bring a list of all the medications that have been prescribed for her. As the young doctor is looking through these, his eyes grow wide as he realizes she has a prescription for birth control pills.
Mrs. Smith, do you realize these are birth control pills?
Yes,
She replies.
they help me sleep at night.
The doctor asserts,
Mrs. Smith, I assure you there is absolutely nothing in these pills that could possibly help you sleep.
She reaches out and pats the young doctor's knee.
No, dear, you are wrong. Every morning I grind one up and mix it in a glass of orange juice. Then I give it to my 16-year-old granddaughter.
Sarah had always loved the great outdoors, and she had been itching to go on a hiking trip for months. So, when her friends suggested a weekend trip to the Canadian wilderness, she jumped at the chance. As they gathered their gear and set out on the trail, Sarah's heart was filled with excitement and anticipation. The sun was setting, the birds were singing, and she couldn't wait to see what adventures lie ahead. But as they walked, a sense of unease began to creep up on her. She had heard stories about bears in the area, and the thought of encountering one filled her with dread. Just as she was starting to feel truly anxious, a park ranger approached them with a friendly smile. Welcome to our park. Before you head out on your hike, I'd like to give you some important information on how to stay safe in bear country. The ranger's demeanor turned serious as he spoke, knowing that bears were a very real danger in the area.
Brown bears are generally harmless, and they usually try to avoid contact with humans. However, it's still important to take precautions. We suggest attaching small bells to your backpacks so that the bears can hear you coming and have plenty of time to move out of your way.
The hikers listened attentively, nodding their heads in understanding. But the ranger wasn't finished yet.
Now, when it comes to grizzly bears, it's a different story.
He warned.
They can be extremely dangerous, and it's crucial that you know how to recognize them and avoid them.
At this point, Sarah couldn't help but speak up.
How do we know if we're seeing grizzly bear droppings?
The ranger's face broke into a wry smile.
Well, that's an easy one. Grizzly bear droppings are full of small bells.
A girl came skipping home from school one day.
Mommy,
She yelled.
we were counting today, and all the other kids can only count to 4, but I counted to 10. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good,
Said her mother.
Is it because I'm blonde, Mommy?
Yes, it's because you're blonde.
Her mother replied. The next day, the girl came skipping home from school.
Mommy,
She yelled.
we were saying the alphabet today, and all the other kids could only say it to D, but I said it to G. See? A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Very good.
Said her mother.
Is it because I'm blonde, Mommy?
Yes, Pumpkin, it's because you're blonde.
The next day, the girl came skipping home from school.
Mommy,
She yelled.
we were in gym class today, and when we showered, all the other girls had flat chests, but I have these.
Pointing to her overly developed breasts.
Very good.
Said her embarrassed mother.
Is it because I'm blonde, Mommy?
No, honey. It's because you're 25.
A woman and a man are involved in a car accident. It's a bad one. Both of their cars are totally demolished, but amazingly, neither of them is hurt. After they crawl out of their cars, the woman says,
So, you're a man. That's interesting. I'm a woman. Wow, just look at our cars. There's nothing left, but fortunately we are unhurt. This must be a sign from God that we should meet and be friends and live together in peace for the rest of our days.
Flattered, the man replied, Oh yeah, I agree with you completely. This must be a sign from God. The woman continued,
And look at this. Here's another miracle. My car is completely demolished, but this bottle of wine didn't break. Surely God wants us to drink this wine and celebrate our good fortune.
Then she hands the bottle to the man. The man nods his head in agreement, opens it, then drinks half the bottle and hands it back to the woman. The woman takes the bottle, immediately puts the cap back on, and hands it back to the man. The man asks, "Aren't you having any?" The woman replies,
No. I think I'll just wait for the police.
A man is flying in a hot air balloon when he realizes that he's lost. He vents some air from the balloon to get lower to the ground to find someone to help him. After a while, he sees someone down below walking across the field. He calls out to the man below, "Hey, can you tell me where I am?" The man on the ground calls up, "Yeah, you're in a hot air balloon hovering about 100 feet above this field." The balloonist shakes his head and says, "You must be an engineer." The man on the ground is amazed. "Yeah, that's right. How did you know?" "Because your answer was technically accurate, but in reality, useless." The man on the ground answers, "Oh yeah? Well, you must be management." Now the balloonist is amazed. "That's right. How did you know?" The man on the ground answers, "Because you've got no clue as to where you are or where you're going. But you expect me to be able to help you, and you're in exactly the same mess you were before you asked me for help. But now it's my fault." A guy goes into a bar with his dog and asks for a drink. Instantly, the bartender says,
You can't bring that dog in here.
The guy replies, "This is my seeing eye dog,"
Oh, I'm sorry, sir,
says the bartender, feeling bad.
Here, the first one is on me.
The man takes his drink, then goes to a table near the door. Another guy walks into the bar with a dog. The first guy stops him and says, "You can't bring that dog in here unless you tell the bartender it's a seeing eye dog." The guy thanks him, continues to the bar, and asks for a drink. The bartender yells,
Hey, you can't bring that dog in here.
The guy replies, "This is my seeing eye dog." The bartender says,
No, I don't think so. They don't use Chihuahuas as seeing eye dogs.
The man pauses for a moment, then says,
What? They gave me a freaking Chihuahua?
A cheating husband decided to write this letter to his wife.
My dear wife, you will surely understand that I have certain needs that you, as a 54-year-old, can no longer satisfy. I'm very happy with you, and I value you as a good wife. However, after reading this letter, I hope you will not wrongly interpret the fact that I will be spending the evening with my 18-year-old secretary at the Comfort Inn. Please don't be upset. I shall be back before midnight.
When the man came home late that night, he found a reply to his letter on the dining room table.
My dear husband, I received your letter and thank you for your honesty about me being 54 years old. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that you are also 54 years old. I would like to inform you that, as you read this, I will be at the Hotel Fiesta with Michael, one of my students, who is also an assistant tennis coach. He is young, virile, and, like your secretary, he is 18. You, being a successful businessman with an excellent knowledge of math, will understand that we are in the same situation, although with one small difference. 18 goes into 54 a lot more times than 54 goes into 18.
A 90-year-old man is on his deathbed. Summoning his last bit of strength, he lifts his head slowly and whispers, "Is my beloved wife Sarah here with me?" Sarah answers lovingly,
Yes, dear, I'm here.
He then asks, "Is my son, my wonderful son, are you here with me?" His son replies, "Yes, Father, I'm here right beside you." He asks, "Is my beautiful daughter here?" In tears, his daughter says,
Oh, yes, Daddy, I'm here.
He continues, Are my brothers and sisters here with me as well? They too tell him that they are with him. The old man lays back quietly, closes his eyes, and asks, "If everybody is here, why is the damn light in the kitchen on?" It is October, and the Indians on a remote reservation ask their new chief if the coming winter is going to be cold or mild. Since he is a chief in a modern society, he has never been taught the old secrets from the past. When he looks at the sky, he can't tell what the winter's going to be like. Nevertheless, to be on the safe side, he tells his tribe that indeed this winter is going to be cold, and that all members of the village should collect as much firewood as they can. But, being a practical leader, after several days he gets an idea. He calls the National Weather Service and asks,
"Is the coming winter going to be cold?"
It looks like this winter is going to be quite cold.
The meteorologist at the Weather Service responds. So the chief goes back to his people and tells them to collect even more firewood. A week later, the chief calls the National Weather Service again.
"Does it still look like it's going to be very cold winter?"
Yes,
The meteorologist replies.
it's going to be a very cold winter.
The chief again goes back to his people and orders them to collect every scrap of firewood that they can find. 2 weeks later, the chief calls the National Weather Service again.
"Are you absolutely sure that the winter is going to be very cold?"
Absolutely.
The man replies.
It's looking more and more like it's going to be one of the coldest winters ever.
"How can you be so sure?"
Asks the chief. The meteorologist replies.
The Indians are collecting firewood like crazy.
One day, a mom is out shopping and dad is in charge of their 3-year-old daughter, Sally. Someone gave Sally a little tea set as a birthday gift, and it is one of her favorite toys. Daddy is in the living room, engrossed in the evening news, when Sally brings Daddy a little cup of tea, which was really just water. After several cups of tea and lots of praise for such yummy tea from Daddy, Mom comes home. Dad makes her wait in the living room to watch Sally bring him a cup of tea, because it was just the cutest thing. Mom waits, and sure enough, Sally comes down the hall with a cup of tea for Daddy. She watches him drink it up and then says to him,
Did it ever occur to you that the only place Sally can reach to get water is the toilet?
It was a beautiful day outside, the kind of day that was perfect for celebrating a birthday. George woke up feeling excited about the day ahead, eager to see what surprises his family and colleagues had in store for him. He had always enjoyed his birthday, and he looked forward to spending the day surrounded by people who cared about him. George got ready for the day ahead and walked into the kitchen, expecting to be greeted by his family with warm hugs and birthday wishes. But to his surprise and disappointment, no one acknowledged his birthday at all. Not his wife, not his kids. George was taken aback by the silence, and he felt a knot form in his stomach. Trying to shake off the feeling of disappointment, George completed his morning routine and headed off to work. He had been working at the same office for many years, and he was looking forward to seeing his colleagues and sharing his special day with them. But as he sat down at his desk, he realized that no one had remembered his birthday. Not a single person had wished him a happy birthday, not even those he had worked with for many years. Just as he was about to give up hope, his manager, Brenda, called him into her office. George was surprised to hear her say,
Hi, George. Happy birthday.
It was the first birthday wish he had received all day, and he was grateful for it. Brenda then offered to take him out for lunch, and George readily accepted. At the restaurant, they enjoyed a lovely lunch and shared many stories and laughs. George was grateful to have someone to share his special day with, especially after the way his morning had gone. As they finished their meal, Brenda asked George if he would like to come back to her place. George had always found Brenda attractive, and he was feeling vulnerable after the disappointments of the day, so he happily obliged. Once they had arrived at Brenda's apartment, she told George to make himself comfortable on the couch and said she would be back in a minute. When she returned, she had a big chocolate birthday cake and was accompanied by his wife, his kids, and all his colleagues. As he sat naked on her couch.